Hey everyone, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. I hope everyone's October is going well so far. And just in case some of you didn't see my last video, if anybody has sent me a case that they want me to cover or has sent me information regarding a case in your area, I am working on every case that has been sent to me, so I don't want anybody to feel like I've blown off their case. I'm just working on them, and I'm trying to do them in order as I receive them from people, as well as doing cases that I'm working on too. So today we're going to be talking about the disappearance of Patti Adkins, and Patti went missing on June 29th, 2001. She was from Marysville, Ohio, and this is a really crazy story. It's very upsetting. I mean, Patti was only 29 years old at the time. She is a white female. She's roughly 5'8" and weighs 120 pounds. When she was last seen, she was wearing steel-toed sneakers and an all-white Honda work uniform, which I'll have some pictures of, and consisting of pants and a long-sleeve shirt with the two red outline patches on the chest with her name tag as well that read Patti. She was also thought to be carrying a teal-colored duffel bag, a maroon coin pouch, and a keychain with her Honda identification card. She has got blonde hair, hazel eyes, and she's got her belly button pierced and her ears pierced, and she went by the nickname Patti, and she also has a tattoo of a flower design on her lower middle back. And Patti was doing very well for herself. She was living in a very quiet subdivision. She had gotten divorced from her husband, and they had a daughter, and she kept a good relationship with her ex-husband even though they had gotten divorced, and they were living in this nice little neighborhood in Marysville, Ohio, and she had been working at the Honda plant for almost 10 years, and according to her friends and family, she had been doing really well there. She was a second shift assembly line supervisor, and she had worked her way up to getting another promotion that she was supposed to receive just right around the time where she disappeared. Anyway, the week that she disappeared, the plant was actually shut down, and that was because for the 4th of July, I guess this particular plant gave the whole week off, or, a vacation. Patti had told her family that she was planning a camping trip with her boyfriend for a week. According to her friends and family, they had been dating for a little over a year. Now, the boyfriend worked in a different part of the Honda factory, and it's important to note that apparently he was married, and this was, an affair that they were having. But according to what Patti had told her friends and her family, was the boyfriend had told her that, he was working towards a divorce. He was trying to, figure out all the details of the divorce. And unfortunately, he also told her that he needed money. And so over this time period, she had given him over $90,000 in, cash. She actually even started borrowing from her 401k to give him money, and again, it was because she thought that, based on what he told her, he needed this money to buy out his wife. I guess the two of them owned some kind of business, and this guy was telling Patti that he needed the money in order to buy her out of her portion so that he could finally move ahead with the divorce. And even though they had been dating fully for a year, apparently over the years they had dated on and off, Patti and this guy whose name has never been released to the public. But right before she went missing, she had asked him to start paying back some of the money. And it was right around this time that Mr. X, let's call him, decided that he would plan a vacation, that they were going to drive to Canada in his truck for a camping vacation of sorts. And he told her that she would not need a cell phone, she wouldn't need to bring anything that they needed they would buy. And so she went ahead and got her pets boarded. She got her family to take care of her 7-year-old daughter. That night, she got a lift from one of her friends into work, and she clocked in onto the night shift like she always did. Then she went and used the phone to call her sister Marcia, and told her that they were going to be staying in this very isolated cabin, and that she would be back on Sunday, July 8th of that year, to pick up her daughter. But she said don't try and call because they won't have any cell service. And that was the last time her sister Marcia heard from Patti. Around 19 seconds after midnight that night, Patti clocked off her shift and she left the Honda factory, Now, this is very bizarre, but this is what they had decided. The idea was for her to jump into the back of her boyfriend's truck under the truck cover that he bought especially for this trip, so she wasn't to be seen by their colleagues or the friend that he was going to be dropping off at home before their vacation started. And I have to say, I can't believe she did that. I really can't believe all the stuff that this woman did for him. I mean, she was obviously a very smart woman. She had worked her way up in this company, but I guess this guy just had her wrapped around his finger, and he had lied and manipulated her so much. It's just really crazy. But anyway, that whole week during the vacation, no one heard from her, which they weren't really expecting to, because she had said, she had no service, but no one ever heard from Patti again. When the Sunday came that she was supposed to be back, her sister was relentlessly calling her, and she just couldn't get a hold of Patti, so she finally called Patti's boyfriend instead, and she did get through to his business office, and his wife picked up, and she told Marcia, hey, look, he's not back yet either, so I don't know what to tell you. And Marcia, Patti's sister, at first thought this was good news. She's thinking, okay, well, he's not back yet either, so they just must not be back yet. However, she called back later to find out that the boyfriend had returned, and he had returned without Patti. Furthermore, he claimed that he had no idea what trip she was talking about, and he claimed that he barely even knew Patti Atkins. So this is when she knew she had a real problem, because here's this guy that she knows her sister's been dating for a year and on and off for years, and now he's claiming he barely knows her and they didn't even go on this trip. But according to Marcia, no matter how much she pressed him, this guy was adamant that he was like, look, I'm not her boyfriend. I don't know her. I mean, I know her through work, but I'm married, and I definitely didn't go on any trip with her, so stop calling me. And of course, Marcia was just devastated because she knew something was obviously very wrong here. By 7 p.m. that Sunday evening, she had filed a missing persons report with the police, and she knew she wasn't going to be able to get any sleep, so she started thinking of ways to investigate Patti's disappearance herself. And she called the boyfriend's wife and told her about the affair that he had been having with her sister, and she told her about the gifts that Patti would buy for this man, and got to the point where she knew that Patti would buy this man a keepsake from wherever she had gone on vacations or a work trip. Well, of course, the wife didn't believe Marcia and began asking her own questions, and she eventually just handed the phone to the husband, aka the boyfriend of Patti, and this guy, Marcia realized that this guy was just trying to work Marcia for information, and she just realized she wasn't going to get any real information from him, and that he obviously was not willing to cooperate. And so she did what any of us would do. She called the police, and the police came and started their investigation. And unfortunately, at Patti's house, they came and looked around, and there was no sign of a struggle there, but she told them there wouldn't be because this all started back at the plant. So obviously there was no sign there at the house that she was forcibly removed. Detectives then went and spoke with the boyfriend, who did let them search his home and business, and he appeared helpful, but he continued to deny the relationship. They interviewed his wife, who was still very adamant about the fact that her husband was in no way having an affair with this woman, and she had no idea what Marcia was talking about. According to her, with work, their side of the business and looking after their children, that's all they did, and he didn't have the time to be having an affair, and it just wasn't possible, and all this stuff. Now, it seemed through the wife's friends and family and from investigations that she honestly didn't know about the affair, or she was in just complete denial. But I mean, there was things that we're going to talk about that were around the house that should have given this woman some clue, so who knows. The boyfriend adamantly denied that they ever had any plans to go on vacation together. He had never had an affair with her. He had only known her slightly, and he said that on that night, he and a friend left the plant together. They drove 30 miles in the direction of their hometown of Canton, Ohio, stopped at a Burger King restaurant. They waited apparently 45 minutes in the drive-thru line before they got their food, and then they went home. This was later contested by the Burger King employee, because he said that at that hour of night there would never have been a wait that long, and there wasn't on that particular night. There was nobody in the restaurant, according to the Burger King manager. The police did find a new truck bed cover in his garage, and the boyfriend said that he bought it on June 26th that he said he used to cover up some fishing gear in his truck bed, and that he put it on the truck on the morning of June 29th and removed it on July 8th. He said he normally didn't drive the truck that much, but he drove it to work the night Atkins disappeared. Yeah, how convenient. It's also the truck cover that he apparently made her hide under so that they could leave the plant unseen. I mean, how freaking suspicious. Police also took the cover for analysis and found cat hairs on it and a small spot of blood. Atkins' veterinarian determined the hair came from her cats. Hello, just, cat DNA evidence, which has actually been used in several crimes to prove guilt. Authorities haven't been able to test the blood for DNA because the spot is too small, but the police also found some other items in the boyfriend's residence, such as a birthday card, which he tried to play off like, oh, it was just a company card, but only Patti had signed it. So obviously this was a sign that he knew her more than just a casual relationship at work, because they also found other little gifts that Patti's friends and her sister confirmed that were gifts that she had given this man because they were in this relationship. And it's also noteworthy that when the police interviewed the employees at her work, they said that these two were in a very emotional relationship. It wasn't just physical, but they only saw each other outside of work a few times a year. And I guess that was how he was able to maintain the facade that he wasn't having an affair with his, for his wife. And that's why the wife was like, oh, well, he couldn't have been having an affair. He was always here, because apparently they didn't see each other that much outside of work. And getting back to the investigation of this boyfriend, he was given a polygraph test about the case, and of course he failed. No surprise there. And shortly after Patti disappeared, he quit the job at the Honda plant, never returned, and just sort of fell off the face of the earth. I mean, moved away with his family, and unfortunately, Patti was declared legally dead in 2006. There's been no activity on any of her financial accounts since she went missing. Her loved ones all say that she was very, very happy in life. She loved her job. She was just supposed to get a promotion. I mean, she was doing great. She loved her daughter. I mean, she had maintain a good working relationship with her ex-husband. There was no animosity there. And I mean, it's just sad because I just think there was a huge misjustice here for Patti. I mean, I think based on the evidence and all that we know, clearly that boyfriend did something to her. And I mean, who tells somebody to lie down in the back of a truck and not to bring any gear or anything with you on a trip? I mean, the whole thing is just so shady. It's actually just beyond upsetting that this man did this to this woman. I mean, not only did he stole over $90,000 of her money and tricked her into believing that he was using it to buy out his wife's end of the business so that they could get divorced and they could be him and Patti could be together. I mean, just so awful. And she seems like such a nice woman. She's such a beautiful woman. She has a daughter that, obviously still misses her tremendously, having to grow up without a mother. And, here this guy has gotten away with this crime. And I know that the burden of, guilt is based on proof and you need evidence. But in this particular case, I mean, the circumstantial evidence and various other evidence that we have is just so overwhelming. I mean, the various gifts that they found, the cat DNA, the circumstances surrounding it, the fact that this guy then just pled ignorance to the whole thing. Oh, we never had a relationship. And it's just, I don't know. I think that one day the law will catch up with him. I don't think that he will get away with this crime. I think that it's only a matter of time before advancements in DNA come about, or, and based on things I've read, the authorities are still doggedly pursuing this. And I don't know, it just goes to show you, I mean, I don't know what his motives could have been other than money, and that just makes me sick. I mean, honestly, people, there are so many wonderful things in this world. Just go watch a sunrise, a sunset, look up at the stars, do something just walk away from a situation. I don't understand why people do these terrible things to other people. I mean, it's just so senseless. And my thoughts and prayers go out to Patti, her friends and family, her daughter, who's now, a grown adult. I think she's in her, around 28, 29. And which I'm sure is hard because Patti went missing at the age of 29. So I just hope and pray that this case can get the justice that it so overwhelmingly deserves. Obviously, I want to dedicate this video to Patti Atkins, her family, her friends, and the authorities that are working to help bring her case to justice. I want to thank everybody for watching, as always, and please be respectful in the comments if you choose to leave one. If you have something critical to say about my work, that's fine, but don't attack the people in these videos or attack other commenters. Just everybody try and play nice. I mean that. Thank you very much to co.ag for providing the background music, and I will see everyone in the next one. Take care. As always, thank you for sticking with me till the end, and I just wanted everyone to know that I did get the calendars in, or at least the first batch. So if you're going to use PayPal, I know some people have already sent money, but for anyone that's going to be sending money, if you could send $16 if you're going to use PayPal, because I just realized that they charge a fee, which works out to be almost $1. You can also use my Venmo account, or send me a check to the P.O. box that I have listed, and that'll be listed in the description of the video. And yeah, just send me your address and name, and I'll get the calendars out. And just let me know what you guys think. And I'm still working on other merch ideas, including the survival kit, and maybe a blanket and some mugs and keychains. Special thank you to Carlos, Aaron, and Martin for their donations. And sorry, for some reason PayPal isn't letting me send messages back to people. So the people that have ordered a calendar, yours went out today. And I appreciate everyone for buying, and anyone that sent me a donation, I always appreciate it. And thank you so much.